Every year, people spend billions on pills, prescriptions, creams, and antibiotics, while some of the most powerful medicinal plants on Earth are literally growing wild in their own backyard. And here's the uncomfortable truth nobody talks about anymore. Generations before modern pharmacies existed survived using plants most people today call weeds. Now obviously, modern medicine saves lives. But at the same time, people have become completely disconnected from natural plants that were once used for infections, wounds, inflammation, digestion, and immune support for hundreds of years. Today, most people see these plants and immediately spray poison on them. They kill them, rip them out, destroy them without even knowing what they are. Meanwhile, some of these so-called weeds contain antibacterial, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory compounds that made them legendary in traditional herbal medicine long before modern drugs existed. Plant number 2 was once carried by travelers specifically for cuts and infections. Plant number 5 grows almost everywhere on Earth, yet most homeowners destroy it on site without realizing how valuable it once was. And plant number 8 became so respected in traditional medicine that entire communities treated it like a natural survival remedy. The craziest part? Most of these plants are free. They're already trying to grow around you. Before we dive in, tell me this in the comments. What weed keeps taking over your backyard every year? And if you love forgotten medicinal plants, survival gardening, natural remedies, and self-sufficient living, subscribe to Primal Gardening. Because this is the kind of knowledge modern society forgot. Alright, let's get into it. Plant number 1, plantain. Most people see this plant and think it's just another annoying weed invading the lawn. But historically, plantain was considered one of the most useful survival plants growing naturally almost everywhere. In old herbal medicine, people crushed the leaves and placed them directly onto cuts, insect bites, burns, and irritated skin. That's why some herbalists nicknamed it nature's bandage. And here's the crazy part. Plantain grows almost everywhere. Sidewalk cracks, backyards, road edges, abandoned lots. The plant is incredibly resilient, which is exactly why it survived alongside humans for centuries. Modern studies have looked at plantain for its antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties, which explains why so many traditional cultures relied on it long before pharmacies existed. Yet today, most people spray chemicals on it without thinking twice. I once watched someone spend money on expensive skin creams while literally standing next to a patch of plantain growing wild beside their driveway. That's how disconnected people have become from medicinal plants. Bonus tip: young plantain leaves are the most tender and commonly used in traditional herbal preparations. Plant number 2, yarrow. This plant was once carried by travelers, soldiers, and herbal healers almost like a portable first aid kit. Because yarrow developed a reputation for helping with wounds and bleeding long before modern medicine existed. In fact, some historical stories claim warriors used crushed yarrow directly on cuts during battle. That's how respected this weed once was. Yarrow grows aggressively in poor soil, roadsides, dry fields, and neglected spaces where many other plants struggle. And once established, it spreads fast. But hidden inside those soft fern-like leaves are powerful natural compounds that made yarrow legendary in traditional medicine for generations. People used it for inflammation, fevers, minor wounds, and herbal teas long before drugstores became part of everyday life. And honestly, most homeowners would probably destroy it immediately if it popped up in their yard. That's the irony. Some of the plants people fear most today were once considered emergency medicine by older generations. I knew someone whose grandmother refused to remove yarrow from her property because she believed every backyard should have at least one medicinal plant growing naturally nearby. Old knowledge like that is disappearing fast. Bonus tip: yarrow flowers are most commonly harvested during full bloom for traditional herbal uses. Plant number 3, dandelion. Most people spend their entire lives trying to kill this plant. Meanwhile, older generations used to eat it, brew it into teas, and rely on it as one of the most dependable medicinal weeds growing naturally around them. That bright yellow flower people spray with chemicals? It's actually packed with nutrients and powerful plant compounds. Historically, dandelion was used in herbal medicine for digestion, liver support, inflammation, and overall wellness long before modern detox products existed. And honestly, it grows with almost superhuman determination. Dry soil, Still growing. Cracks in concrete. Still growing. Neglect? Somehow stronger than ever. That's exactly why it became such an important survival plant in so many cultures. The leaves, flowers, and roots were all traditionally used in different ways, making dandelion one of the ultimate, nothing-wasted plants. But today, most homeowners spend money trying to destroy a plant their ancestors would have protected. That's the strange part about modern life. Some of the plants people call useless weeds were once considered medicine cabinets growing straight out of the ground. I once saw a perfectly healthy patch of dandelions sprayed with chemicals while expensive detox teas sat inside the house kitchen cabinet. The irony was unbelievable. Bonus tip: younger dandelion leaves are less bitter and are traditionally preferred for teas and edible uses. Plant 4. Chickweed. This little plant looks harmless and weak, but it spreads like crazy once it finds moist soil and cooler weather. And for generations, herbal healers saw it as far more than just a backyard weed. Chickweed was traditionally used for irritated skin, minor wounds, itching, and inflammation because of its naturally soothing properties. In fact, some people still turn it into homemade salves and herbal preparations today. But here's what's wild: most people don't even notice it growing. It hugs the ground low, quietly spreading through gardens, pathways, and shady corners while people step over it every single day. That's the thing about medicinal weeds. The most powerful ones are often the easiest to ignore. And chickweed grows fast. Once conditions are right, it can completely cover patches of soil like a living carpet. That's one reason older gardeners sometimes kept it intentionally instead of removing it. Because unlike decorative plants that demand constant care, chickweed practically takes care of itself. I knew someone whose grandmother called chickweed the free medicine plant, because it returned naturally every single year without anybody planting it. That kind of old knowledge is disappearing quickly now. Bonus tip: chickweed is traditionally harvested while the stems are still soft and tender before the plant matures too heavily. Plant number 5. Burdock. Burdock is easily recognized by its massive, elephant ear leaves and the sticky, irritating burrs that cling tightly to your clothes and your pet's fur during a walk. It thrives along fence lines and neglected edges of the yard, dismissed by most as an aggressive nuisance that needs to be obliterated with a heavy weed whacker. But underneath this rough exterior is a massive root system that has been praised in traditional Chinese medicine for centuries as the premier blood purifier. Science has validated this ancient practice by demonstrating that burdock root is packed with polyacetylenes, chlorogenic acid, and caffeic acid. These heavy-hitting phytochemicals have a devastating impact on bacterial biofilm, which is the protective slime layer that bacteria build around themselves to resist modern medical antibiotics. By breaking down this armor, burdock leaves the invading bacteria completely exposed and vulnerable to the body's natural immune cells. Taking burdock internally helps clear chronic skin conditions like acne, eczema, and psoriasis, which are often caused by low-grade systemic bacterial infections lurking in the blood and deep tissue. It also acts as an aggressive antifungal agent, keeping internal candida overgrowths in check. By digging up and throwing away this deep-rooted plant, you are discarding one of nature's most efficient internal biological filters. Plant number 6. Stinging nettle. Few plants evoke as much immediate anger as the stinging nettle, a tall weed covered in tiny, hollow hairs that inject formic acid into your skin upon contact, leaving a painful, itchy rash. Homeowners wear thick gloves and use heavy tools to clear this painful plant from their property margins every spring. Yet, if you can look past its aggressive exterior, you will find one of the most potent, nutrient-dense medicinal powerhouses on the planet. Once dried or boiled, the stinging mechanism of the nettle is completely deactivated, leaving behind a dark leafy green that is loaded with powerful antibacterial and analgesic properties. Nettle extract contains specific plant lectins and aggressive phenolic compounds that directly attack the cell walls of harmful microbes. It has shown remarkable success in inhibiting respiratory and urinary tract pathogens, working as an organic cleanup crew inside the human body. Furthermore, stinging nettle is incredibly rich in bioavailable iron, calcium, and vitamin C, making it an excellent immune system stimulant that helps your body manufacture new white blood cells. It has been used for generations to soothe seasonal allergies, ease debilitating joint pain, and flush out chronic internal infections. Instead of treating this plant as a painful enemy, we should respect it as a highly protective shield for our health. Plant number 7, Creeping Charlie. Creeping Charlie, also known as ground ivy, is the ultimate nightmare for suburban lawn lovers. This member of the mint family features scalloped, kidney-shaped leaves and bright purple flowers, spreading through a lawn via rapid underground runners that make it nearly impossible to kill. Homeowners use heavy chemical sprays to stop its march across the grass, unaware that early European settlers deliberately brought this plant across the ocean as an essential source of medicine. The leaves of Creeping Charlie are absolutely loaded with highly concentrated volatile oils, including pulgone, menthone, and ursolic acid. Ursolic acid is highly regarded by scientists for its aggressive anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. When brewed into a traditional herbal tea, these compounds act as a powerful expectorant, thinning out heavy mucus in the respiratory tract while actively killing the bacteria, causing the congestion. This makes Creeping Charlie an exceptional natural remedy for stubborn chest colds, bronchitis, and sinus infections. It has also been used historically to dry up fluid buildup in the inner ear, relieving the painful pressure associated with ear infections. Spraying this historic remedy with synthetic weed killers means wiping out a reliable tool for respiratory health. Plant number 8, Self-Heal. True to its direct name, Self-Heal is a low-growing weed with square stems and spiked purple blooms that can pop up right in the middle of a routinely mowed lawn. Most people overlook it entirely or consider it an irregular patch of weeds that ruins a uniform landscape. In the world of herbalism, however, Prunella vulgaricis, known as the heal-all herb, possessing a wide medicinal range that few plants can match. Self-Heal contains a high concentration of rosmarinic acid, a phytochemical celebrated for its profound antibacterial, antiviral, and antioxidant actions. It is one of the few backyard weeds that has been heavily studied for its ability to fight modern drug-resistant bacterial strains. Its active components prevent bacteria from replicating and binding to healthy human cells, effectively containing an infection before it can cause widespread damage. Whether applied as an external wash for stubborn wounds or consumed as an infusion for internal throat and mouth infections, Self-Heal works tirelessly to restore tissue balance. It accelerates the body's natural cellular repair cycle while keeping dangerous pathogens at bay. By continuing to mow over and clear out this humble plant, you are missing out on one of nature's most complete and resilient first aid tools. The modern world teaches us to value perfection over purpose, forcing us to spray chemicals onto the very medicine our ancestors used to survive. The next time you walk out into your yard with a weed whacker or a bottle of herbicide, take a moment to look closer at what is growing beneath your feet. You aren't just looking at an untamed lawn. You are looking at a resilient, living pharmacy that is waiting to protect your health for free. If you want to stop fighting nature and start learning its secrets, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Primal Gardening. Leave a comment below letting us know which of these 8 weeds is currently taking over your backyard, and if you will ever look at it the same way again. Thank you so much for watching. Keep your eyes on the soil, and we will see you in the next episode.